Hi, good morning. Um, I started my first restaurant 20 years ago. It was born out of sheer passion for food. I don't actually cook, but I don't know why I went into food business. Well, I, I started everything from scratch, meaning I did product development, I did hiring, I did purchasing, everything. Okay, so I started with a team of one cook, one prep. Prep is the guy who helps out to cook. One dishwasher, server, me and my wife. So every time my cook doesn't make it to work, we have to close shop. No cook, close. So I said, I cannot live with that. It was so frustrating that I said, we have to scale up the operations. Good enough, sales came in, and I told myself I would never close shop again. So I started putting in three chefs instead of one. Those were the pains in growing, pains of starting up a new business. This picture is very significant for in our journey in business. This particular item brought us to where we are today. Fish head was a gourmet food. Yes, niche market, very few appreciate fish head, but we were able to target people who loves food. And this is the food that brought me to Mr. Henry C. Sr., the richest man in the Philippines today. Mr. C would frequent my restaurant maybe 3, 4 times a month. He particularly comes in late in the evening when we're about to close down, say 9:30. His secretary will call us, okay? There was no beeper, no cell phone, no emails, nothing. It's a landline. Mr. C is on his way with some visitors. Can you hold from closing down and wait for him? So that was happening all over again. One day, when he was with his son for late dinner, he requested me to sit down with him and said, young man, you're a hardworking guy. Imagine you have to extend your closing hours just to cater to the two of us. I said, no, no worries, no worries. Uncle, that's part of our job. So he invited me, would you like to join my mall, SM North EDSA, the very first mall in the Philippines, first integrated mall? I said, we'd love to because it's so hard to get a space there. And there's so much people there. And yet, no, no, come to my office and come to my office tomorrow. I said, okay, okay, I'll be there. So this young 20-year-old guy walks into his office. The secretary was saying, do you really have an appointment with Mr. C? I said, yeah, yeah, I have. So he saw me. He ushered me to his room and said, okay. He called one of his assistants and said, can you give Mr. D, Ricky D, a space in SM North EDSA? I would say, no application needed? Nothing. That totally changed our direction in business. So this particular picture is very significant to us. After doing food courts, the passion to go to other fields of restaurants is very encouraging at that time. So today we have a lineup of stores that we operate. Then, because of the globalization, because of social media exposure, we thought of bringing in a reputable brand in Manila. And I think Manila is ready for that. So why don't we have a Michelin star? Okay, let me discuss on a Michelin star. How do you get it? Where the history of it? Michelin star started as a roadmap guide to sell their tires. Michelin is a tire company based in Europe. They started to sell tires together with a roadmap, and there's our pit stops, gasoline stations, and some restaurants. As evolved over the years, it became very reputable that people were buying just the book for the list of restaurants and not buying the tires. So after the war, they started doing that, just focusing on restaurants. Okay, it started in France. Okay, And then the clamor for them to go outside France. They went to New York, South America, and most recently in Asia. Today, we have 2 legitimate Michelin star restaurants in the Philippines. We brought in Tim Ho Wan 3 years ago. When we were negotiating with them, when we presented our portfolio, the first thing they asked was, "You have your hands full. Why do you need to franchise Tim Ho Wan?" I said, "Because we want to have a Michelin star restaurant in the Philippines." And he said, "Now we have the same vision." So because of that vision, they gave me Tim Ho Wan's rights in the Philippines. Then when we were in Italy one time, we were trying to look for a good restaurant, particularly Milan. The concierge said, there is a good restaurant right outside Milan. It is the most affordable Michelin star restaurant. And in a few minutes, we were off to this restaurant. So we met the owners. We discussed with them the interest to bring them to the Philippines. So when he said Philippines, he said, "Philippines? Is that in Asia?" So it was really a hard sell. We have to invite him over, show him around on where Philippines is. The moment he landed in the Philippines and saw what BGC is, Makati, and Ortigas, he said, "We'd like to have 1 or 2 stores here." So those were the selling points that we have to do when applying for a foreign franchise. They have to see Manila and not hear it from the news, because it's a different story. So today, we have 2 Michelin-rated restaurants in the Philippines. Next year, or this year, I must say, we'll have 3 more affordable Michelin stars in the Philippines. These are all coming in second half of this year. We think that Michelin star restaurants, as long as it's affordable, would work in Manila. Not all Michelin stars restaurants would work in Manila. The white linens, expensive ones, they won't work. But I guess affordable Michelin stars, which is now the new direction of Michelin, when they awarded the very first hawker center a Michelin star in Singapore. So, is the Philippines ready for a Michelin rating? I think in the next 5 to 10 years, Michelin will come to Manila. The last country they went to last year was South Korea. You see it? Medyo malapit na tayo. Huh? The most number of Michelin star restaurants now is in Japan. So Michelin is now in Asia, and I see in the very near future that Michelin will make it in Manila. So soon, I think we will have a Filipino Michelin star restaurant. Latest craze in America now, the talks is Filipino food will be the next big thing. That's according to Andrew Zimmern of the Bizarre Food. He has a TV show, he's a celebrity chef, and according also to Andrew Bourdain, No Reservations, Layover. So, me personally, I feel that Filipino food, once presented with international standard, headless, boneless, okay, will make it internationally. And I think with these 2 guys vouching for us, we will be the next culinary star in the world. So our company now, would like to think global and probably put up, not probably, it's already in the works. We're putting up our first store in America. So in closing, we've evolved from one space to another. And we shouldn't stop from there. We are working on our first Filipino restaurant to be open in America. And that's a dream come true. Thank you.